Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to yet again another fantastic indie creator interview. It's your Caped Crusader, Cody, and we are keeping it geekly with our new friend, Mike Clarke. We're here to break down Rivals, the Loyalty of Sago, Astar Deluxe issue number 1, their current campaign running on Zoop. And man, this looks like such a fun read. Before we dive into this book, though, Mike, welcome to the stream. How are you doing today?
Thank you very much. I'm doing okay. Yourself?
Absolutely. Not too bad at all. We're staying dry over here, not experiencing any torments of rain or anything. But with that being said, let's go ahead and dive into a little bit about who you are and how you got into creating comics.
Yeah, so I'm Mike Clarke. I come from mainly a film background. So as a young child, I'll be forever with a camcorder in my hand, trying to convince school friends to act in some of my terrible short films. And then, so I screenwrite, I make films, and I've always been a comic book fan, in particular Batman.
Oh,
But I still enjoy a lot of the other independent publishers as well and their works, you know, stuff on Boom Studios and Image and Dark Horse. And I wanted to write comics. It's just another form of creating and using your imagination. So I started to learn that craft when I was probably in my early 30s. And then me and Paul got together and said, right, come on, let's just blast some out. We can use our imagination and create fantastic things on a much smaller scale budget than what would be needed if we wanted to do it on film. So, if we wanted to send a rocket to fight aliens in space, it'll be $100 million movie, but we can do it in comic book form with fantastic artists for next to nothing. So that's how
do you find yourself able to execute your visions a little more easier, not having to working with a budget that's a lot more achievable than that would be, requiring of a movie?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So when we're making movies, we strip back a lot of stuff from the original ideas from the script because it's just not achievable on the amount of money that we have. But when it comes to the comics, we can just go wild. We can do whatever we want to. We want to do a double page splash with 100 people fighting one another and chopping arms off. There you go. We can do it next to nothing. If you want to do that on a film, big bucks.
So give us a little bit about Rivals, though. This isn't your first dive into comics. We were talking backstage. You said you and Paul created a one-shot that kind of explored the world of Rivals. But with issue 1, what are we looking at overall for the concept?
Okay, so we created a one-shot just to basically entice people into this world, so they can get to know this planet that we're on, that we've created so it's Planet Altar. It's got 7 completely different cities with different inhabitants and their own fighting styles and things like that. And it was just to introduce that a little bit as a teaser. And then what we're doing now is the issue 1 of the story arc. So this is a much bigger story, where, as you said, Sago Astar, it's following him, who's a character from one of the cities.
And I really love the inspiration for that character in particular, Gary Daniels. I'm a huge martial arts fan myself too. I'm not very well versed with him, but it's awesome that you guys were not only able to use his likeness for this book, but he's also going to be involved in the TV show too, right?
Yeah, so the initial idea, the seedling of the idea came from Paul. Paul said, I've got an idea. It's called Rivals. There's 7 cities, 7 clans, all ruled by a sword. That's the name, what they call their leader, their king, the sword. And, the sword's number 1 general, Sago Astar, and I'm picturing Gary Daniels as it. So then I had to take that idea and then run with it and create all these stories, these backstories and the lore and the legend behind each one. And he got in touch with Gary. Obviously me and Paul are similar in age. We grew up watching 80s and 90s action films, and we seen Gary in Jackie Chan movies, and we seen him in Fist of the North Star and things like that. And we just said, listen, we've got this idea, this character, we'd love to use your likeness in the comic. And he was more than, grateful and helpful, and he said, yeah. And so we've done that. And then obviously, as you just mentioned, Paul sent off all the details to a producer he knows in LA, and he wanted to option it immediately. And Paul said, we've got Gary Daniels' likeness in the comic. What's the chances that we could get him in the TV series if it gets fully greenlit? And as far as I'm aware, they've got in touch with him, and he's more than up for it. So
that is awesome. Congratulations first on getting the TV series, but also getting him to want to play the role too. That had to be such a surreal feeling for you and Paul.
It is. As fans of Gary and what he's achieved and stuff like that, to have him, not only say yes to being in the comic, but also, wanting to do the TV show as well. He wants to do it. Is great. There's a few more. I know that they're talking to some more, established actors to work around it and fill up all the big, the main spots in the cast. But it's exciting to have his name down already. Definitely.
No, that is so awesome. So let's go ahead. Let's use this opportunity to segue over to the Zoop campaign and kind of check it out and see what you guys are campaigning for. So we are currently looking at Rivals the Loyalty of Sago, Astar Deluxe Issue number 1. The first edition comic is limited to 500 copies worldwide. So this is about a savage post-apocalyptic world where the gun has been replaced with the sword and the bullet replaced by the fist. Two opposing characters from opposite worlds are forced to work together to save the people they love. Currently at $5,191 of a $5,000 goal. Congratulations on funding, man. That is so awesome. 70 supporters and 2 days left to go. Here is the link for everyone to check this out with us. If you're unable to back, a simple retweet, liking it, sharing it on Facebook, word of mouth is 100% free. And you're going to have someone who's going to love this. This story just looks phenomenal. So here are some of the rewards. Looks like you have some awesome variant covers here too. Can you give us a little bit about the artists involved?
Well, the issue 1 cover A is Greg Staples, who's a very famous comic book artist. He is phenomenal. Paul has got some of the best up and coming comic book artists as well to jump in and help out and provide some of their amazing artwork inside as well. But they've been well received.
And speaking of artwork, here is some of the interiors as well. And like I said, they are gorgeous. I love just how brutal this scene is. The war that's happening. What all can we expect from this series going forward? How many issues are you guys looking at coming out with?
Well, see, what I did originally was I wrote a couple of pilot script on a couple of episodes for the TV series, and then we went down the comic book route. And what I've basically done is I've divided each episode into 3 comics, with each one ending with a cliffhanger. So we're looking at a 10 episode TV series. So by that, it should be a 30 issue story arc. If I can stick to it, 30 issue, yeah.
We have some of the art as well. So is this like a separate book in itself?
It's a separate book you can get as well. You can buy it separately, or you can get it with the other ones. It's all about the design, how Paul and the artists, Richard Torres, who's the main penciler for the issue. He's phenomenal. And it's all about that, how they came up with the designs. And there you go. You've got the each issue has at the end, it's got an 8-page Tales of the 7 Cities story as well. So you get to know more about the world and individual characters as well on different parts of time. So just to spread out the world and get people involved in it.
Wow, this is gorgeous. These interiors are so immersive. It's hard to not just stay focused on the screen itself. So you could actually also become a rival in this book too, so you can have your likeness appear within the comic as well.
Absolutely. In issue 2 you can be in the comic. There's 2 tiers. You can have one just to be in there somewhere. You could be a background character, you could be You know, you could be in a fighting scene or a lovemaking scene or in the bar or something like that. But there's also a reoccurring character as well. So basically, your likeness will be used for one of the main characters who shows up all the time.
Oh, absolutely. And let's go ahead and look at some of these stretch goals too. So we have poster stickers, a 16-page prequel one-shot added from a 2080 artist, Dave Kendall. So
That's
once
right,
that post is, I mean, I know we have 2 days left, but at what tier do you think this poster is going to be unlocked? Do you have like a set number?
I'm not too sure, to be honest. That's Paula's behind that. I don't know if it is just going to do it now because it's hit its goal.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Paul done a big poster just to show the brutality of it all, and
no, absolutely. And
yeah,
an important thing to note too is this comic is 100% complete and ready to send files to the printer, and it's looking like February 23 is the delivery date they're shooting for. So this wraps up the Zoop campaign. I'm going to be throwing that link in the chat right now, and we're going to be beginning to wrap things up too. We don't have a whole lot of time left, so with that being said, I always like asking a question right after taking a look at the campaign, and that is for anyone who is watching on the fence about backing Rivals. What would you like to say to them directly to help push them over that fence?
Well, it's something new, and it's something to get really stuck into. We know that a lot of people with the once Game of Thrones ended, you know, they want to get stuck into something else now, into that world. And maybe, I don't know, I've not seen it myself, but the new Lord of the Rings show may not be for them. But this could be, if you like, you know, whole new worlds with drama and backstories and martial arts and action and brutality, then Rivals got it all. So
yeah, it looks like it is filled with swords, punches, blood, and everything else galore, and I'm here for it. I'm excited that we had this opportunity to break it down and get a little bit more in depth about it as well. Mike, thank you for swinging by. Before we end things completely though, I always love finishing the podcast off on a strong note, and that is with us, you know, chatting and breaking this down. There's always a chance there's someone new who might be watching, or someone who might even just be struggling within the industry themselves. So with that being said, for anyone who is having trouble getting started with either just the writing or the art or any part of the process, what type of advice would you offer them to help them kind of push through that? Oh, internet connection may have froze on us. Oh,
is just have a goal, have a target, and just keep pushing, keep writing, keep drawing, you know, whatever it is, just keep going for it and don't stop, never quit. You know, if people who don't get to where they want to be is because they fall at the first hurdle or the second hurdle. It's all about picking yourself up. You're going to get some knockbacks, you're going to get some yeses, just keep going.
Absolutely. It's you know, life's going to throw punches at you left and right. It's about how many times you get up, and you know, the refusal to stay down. And I mean, heck, this is your second your second book after a one shot, and you guys are looking at a TV you know, adaptation from that. That is so awesome. It just goes to show you, if you keep sticking at it, you never know what's going to pop off.
Exactly. You know, it's quite new to us comics, but you know, Paul is got his history in films as well. He's the concept artist for the new Dungeons and Dragons film, Indiana Jones 5, awesome. Evil Dead Rising, Turtles. So he's working on the new Call of Duty game. So he's you know, in demand for his concept art and that, and you know, me with my film background as well, we combined, and the main goal was to not only have an amazing story, but also put out a quality product that people will love, and I think we've achieved that. So I'm more than happy.
No, absolutely. Well, guys, you heard it here. It is New Comic Book Day. Be sure to check out Rivals. If you are unable to back, just share it on Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, anything that is a social media platform. Word of mouth is 100% free, and it's going to help us achieve this goal and smash it. That being said, it is time for us to wrap up. Mike, thank you so much for swinging by. I know we had a little bit of a short notice, but I appreciate it nonetheless. Everyone watching, have an awesome day, but most importantly, keep it geekly.